Hi, this is clip 17E, just more on wind energy and just a few little points on the economics of it from the point of view of the consumer and the developer and the owner. So anyway, it's a continuation of the 17 series. Now if we look at today's EirGrid dashboard, we see that demand is 3634 and wind is 2340. 3634 and 2340, and we're exporting 400. Now I would suggest that if we were exporting 400 megawatts into Britain, 60% of that is wind produced today because it's very windy out today, and they're getting paid. But when we import it back in, we have to pay them for everything. The wind company doesn't pay anything at all, so they get paid when it's coming in, when it's going out, and when it's coming in we pay all. So I think there's a bit of a rip-off there. But anyway, we'll move on to another thing. This is the total maximum output there ever was, 3080. And today is 2340. So there's a want there. They're not getting, even though it's good windy conditions, they're not getting the maximum potential, even today. Not getting the maximum potential, and that's a problem. That's cutting back on their income. Now, I just had a look at the payback situation. If we take simple interest, it's about 2,700,000 per megawatt to build a wind farm, based on here in Rara, which costs 30 million, and it's a 12 megawatt facility, so 2.7 million roughly. Now if we take simple interest at 4.5%, right, we get 121,500 and multiply that by, we'll say the life of the wind farm is 22 years, we get 2,673,000, 2.6 million. Right, and add that then, that'll be the total interest. Add that to the total capital cost, and you get a figure of 537300. So the initial cost of 2.7 and the final cost is 5.3. That's by simple interest every year adding 4% onto it. Now if there's no interest, there's no joy for the lender, and if there's no dividend, there's no joy for the investor. So right, so 537300 is the simple interest calculation. If we look at that over 22 years, then that works out at 244,277 per year. Okay, that's what they have to have on their balance sheet for 1 megawatt. Right, 244. So they'd need to be getting about 245,000 per megawatt to pay off the simple interest amount. Right. If on the other hand it's compound, you can go onto the internet there and you'll get a compound interest calculator at 4.5%. This is the figure. It's 7879,000 total. So for the original investment, the original cost of 2.7 million, they have to come up with 7.9 million over the full length of the wind farm, and that works out at 357,000. So it's more expensive by the compound route than it is by the simple interest. So if we go simple interest here, it's 244 roughly, and if we go the compound route, it's 357 roughly thousand euros. So that's quite a lot. So if they hope to pay that back, then they have to get paid somewhere. So what I did was I took the two figures I'm just after giving you and taken away the existing costs. Just multiply the amount of hours of the year by the load factor by 75, and it's 157,788, and take both of them away, and we get the extra cost per megawatt would be 86,499 or 87,500 in the case of the simple interest, and 111,212, roughly 200,000 in the case of the compound interest. Okay, now that's extra. That's on top of the extra. So that's per megawatt, right? Well, now we work out that price for both of those by multiplying by 3500, which is the total capacity. Remember, that's for 1 megawatt, and the figure we get then here is 302,746,500, or we'll say 303 million is the cost up by the simple interest. Sorry, no, I'm wrong there. 302 Yeah, 302 million, but then I've divided that by the number of customers. That's correct. Now I've divided the total cost of 302 million by the number of customers, which is 2 million, and we found out that it's 151 euros per customer, per bill. Right? Now, if we take the higher fee, the compound interest, which is the most realistic, I'm sure there's no bank giving free lending or giving even simple interest lending, we multiply the total amount for 1 unit by the total amount is 3,500 megawatts, so that's the amount for 1 megawatt, that's the amount for 3,500, and we divide the answer. We divide the answer by 2 million. So we get the answer here at 69724. And then 697,242, sorry, and we divide that by 2 million, and we get the cost there at 348 per bill. So okay, so if they're paying simple interest, it'll cost you 151 euros to bring them back into the black. Or if they're paying compound interest, it'll cost 348 euros to bring them back into the black. And we're already paying 276. We're already paying 276. Now this is just for the basic paying for them for electricity. This has nothing to do with the infrastructure, the backup generation needed, none of that. This is just to keep them, give them the money. We have a lot of other things to pay after that. So if we add the existing cost, as I said there, 276, to the new costs, we see that it'll cost a total for the lesser one for the simple interest at 427, and for the compound interest at 624. 427 and 624, and it'll almost certainly be the 624. That is the total we would be paying if they go and do what I suspect they're going to do. And that is, they're going to increase the amount of the bill enough to bring them up to compensate for the lack of wind. So they'll push that on the bill payer, and to try and get bring them into the black. So this doesn't tell the entire picture, because as they increase the amount of wind in the system, a lot of it won't be able to get paid at all. And that gets into a very complex area there, which I'm not going to know. But we can see that there's a crunch, and the next thing to watch for is government. They're hoping to put the cost of the television licence for RTE on a household bill. We already have the property tax, and now we're going to have these increases if they do it. Otherwise, the whole thing comes crashing down. This will just keep them ticking over. Now, if you're investing in wind energy, remember this return would cover the capital cost plus interest, compound interest at 4.5%. And if we take the lesser figure of 427 here at the simple interest, well then if you get 4.5% on your investment, this is the price, this is the cost that you'd have to raise the electricity to, and that'll leave you repaid your capital sum, and it'll leave a little bit of interest, 4.5%, which in today's world is very good, but it's a massive rise, and whether that's socially sustainable is another thing. We definitely know they can't increase the bills for electricity just out so that they're out of the reach of everybody. There has to come a time when it's just so big that it can't be sustained. And we see the farmers now looking for a better price for their beef and all, and they have a big electricity input into their expenses and into their costs. So even if they did get a rise, even if the rise the farmer got made up for amounted to 151 or 348 in the year, it's gone on this bill straight away. It's gone straight away. Not alone to that, but the household bill and all that will be going up as well. Now, and then there's a carbon tax. So you can see how the policy of the government is to keep screwing ahead. So we need to watch this electricity bill. They're going to keep at us. They're going to keep ripping us if they can. And that's the amount. I'd say that probably wouldn't go any more than that. But you still will have to dip your hand in your pocket for 151 or 348 to bring these guys out of the into some sort of just a break even and a little profit. Now, don't forget the amount of electricity produced by wind farms decreases with age. So they're caught there again. Now, I told you before what it was. It's roughly a 7% drop over a 19-year life. So there again, they're caught again. And then there'll be shutdowns and breakages and everything else. So no matter what way they try to go about it, it will take massive increases in electricity bills to cover this mayhem that's upon us. So that's very good. Thank you for watching in, and I hope that that's some help. But you can see that something has to give. John Lang stopped behaving as a charity, and he stopped pumping the money from his other works, all his railway stations and everything he's building. He stopped doing that. He said he's not bailing out the wind or renewable energy anymore. The ESB is bailing it out. SSE Electricity is bailing it out. The national toll roads are bailing it out. So in Ireland, it's still bail them out as best you can. But how long that can go on, we don't know. So